All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Hess. I am the co-founder and chief brewing officer for Mike Hess Brewing Company, and we're here today with Ashley and Bernie to talk to them about our upcoming anniversary party, our 16th anniversary, called HessFest, which we have repurposed as a fundraising platform to get news and information out about and raise money for these great organizations and the amazing work that they're doing. So we're just going to have a conversation with Bernie and Ashley and just talk about how fun HessFest is and why it's so impactful on what these guys are doing, because their mission is awesome.
Love it. Let's do it. Can't
Let's
wait.
do it. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you guys are here. It's been this is year number 2 with both of you on board. Last year was a lot of fun, great success. Our biggest HessFest yet. Obviously, we're hoping to eclipse that each and every year going forward, and I think this year is on track for that. So, I don't know. Why don't we talk about it? Like last year, we raised $16,200 or so each for you guys.
Yeah.
How did that? What was the impact of that on your organization? How does that help you guys?
Ashley, you want to start?
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for having us last year because we were in year one of being one of your philanthropies that you're supporting at HessFest. And, we're a social work model, we're a suicide prevention, mental health, workforce development model for transitioning service members. So, we immediately put that funding right into the work that we're doing. We serve about 525 unique clients a year with over 10,000 social work instances a year.
Oh.
So that funding went direct to case management support and support programmatically for the direct intentional work that we're doing within those cases. So we were very grateful to be a part of a fun event,
Mhm.
be out in the community, celebrate with the people, talk to the people that support military, right? That want to give back to them for giving back to, our nation. But having those conversations, being a part of that and being able to directly apply that back into our organization was fantastic. And we're excited for year two.
You're right on. It sure seemed to resonate with the crowd that came down to the Imperial Beach location last year. You had a lot of activity at your booth, people
Yeah.
coming in and talking and chatting with you guys.
Well, I think Imperial Beach, we're so close to, Naval Base Coronado and all of the different activity with the commands over there. But our military are geographically dispersed around the county. So it's not unnatural to be out in the community and talk to somebody who's like, I want to support the military, I want to support a veteran, I want to support their families.
Right.
And I think when we were at the event, we saw that. We saw somebody who was like, well, my uncle served, my brother served, my son is currently serving,
Right.
or a child, somebody in their life, a friend, they understand that they can't understand what they've been through, but they understand that the community can support what they don't understand.
Right.
And they were starting to understand what Zero8Hundred was doing. And I think we're just one of the many nonprofits in San Diego that are trying to do our best to say thank you for your service. But it resonated so well with the people who were stopping by the booth, enjoying the festival, and saying, like, how can I get more involved? How can I support
Right.
this? And this is such a great thing that Mike Hess and his team are doing to support these nonprofits.
Right. And I think that that's such an important part of what we do. I mean, you've seen it, Bernie, because we've worked together over a number of years, but just like raising awareness of, like I don't know how many people before the day of had heard of 0800 or how many had actually even heard of OAK, even though you guys have been operating for a long time here in San
Yeah,
Diego.
agreed.
What was your experience like?
I mean, our experience has been fantastic. I mean, we can't thank, you, your staff, the community that comes out every year enough. I mean, you're talking about, in both of our cases, we're relatively small nonprofits who do big, big things in our area. So we have deep followings. What we're tasked with doing, we're sort of the same thing, right? So we'll have 500 kids who come through our childhood cancer quality of life programs. And obviously all of our programming is at no cost. So finding ways in which we're able to provide those types of safe spaces and abilities where the community can come learn more. And that's the thing, right? In both of our cases, we're working with information and stuff that it's not necessarily the norm for people to just jump out and say, oh, I want to tell you all about this story, because it's a very deeply personal and emotional thing.
Yeah.
And so events like HessFest allow us to just take those small little steps to create a connection, to get someone who really was in a position to give that story, to learn more about it, and then feel that comfort to say, hey, what else can I do? I want to learn more. I've got someone who's going through a childhood cancer diagnosis. I've got someone who's coming out of the military who's looking for these types of resources.
Right.
And the fact that within your family and the community that you've always served, within Mike Hess Brewing, is the fact that you've seen that on a day-to-day basis. Like these are real, live scenario things that have been lived, that are part of the background of all this. And I think those things make it such a unique event, in which we're able to really do so much more work to then continue on our overall program. So all the support that came in, like the 16K that came in last year, it went right into resident oncology camp and our family and bereavement camp. So it's not like it waited 5 years and then we got into it. It was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
This is going right into action. And I think that's the part that we appreciated of you guys understanding that, of like, hey, we don't have time to waste. We both have missions where we have a sense of urgency and we have to get stuff done. So we're not looking for excuses. We're not looking for all these different things. We're tasked with going out and jumping in and getting our hands dirty. And that's where events like this are they're phenomenal.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I think that when we had that cancer diagnosis in our family in 2018 with our daughter, and we started digging into what's going on in the world of pediatric cancer. That was really kind of where we, as a brand, as a brewery, as a team, like kind of crystallized our mission, where we said, hey, we can raise money for small causes, and not to disparage dog shelters or whatever, but like we can do small stuff like that. But it was really in 2018, and as we were getting into the diagnosis in 2019 in particular, we started out with the Beat Cancer beer, where we said we're going to go after like big ticket items, and that's why we've been so focused for so many years now on tackling the world of pediatric cancer, the world of veteran suicidality and the PTSD, and these are big ticket items, right? That's the other thing I think that is important that we do at HessFest, is that we're not raising tens or hundreds, we're raising tens of thousands of dollars, because these are big issues, like to pay for all these kids to go to camp and the families, and to provide all the support services that you guys need. Those are not like $500 items. These are big ticket items, and we've been really focused on that for a while now.
I think you brought up such a great point, because this is a local company helping local nonprofits that are smaller in scale. And that point that you were making that I resonated with is that it can be really hard for very serious agencies that it doesn't look so positive to get out there and market. It's a private interaction.
Yep.
If somebody's talking about suicidal ideations, I can't be like, I had 10 clients in the office today and look what we did, right? So it can be very hard to market that. So to have a space, and I'm sure it's hard when it's very personal, in the cancer side, when you're able to be at an event that is uplifting and positive, but you can have direct conversations with the people that are at your booths to share a little more, that does so much more than a flyer or a quick video that's online to try and get the mission across.
Right.
That just doesn't land the same as it does when we're at HessFest.
Right.
And we had some really interesting, deep conversations, and we had one person come up and make a donation because they had a direct connection to somebody that they loved that took their life. That's a very personal thing, but also through a conversation and them hearing and them seeing that you have vetted us, that we're saying what we do, and by their research, they're now supporting 0800, like in honor of somebody that they love. Like that, if we can do better for the next person to not take their life in this community, that person was basically saying, I want to support that effort. And that's what we were able to accomplish being a part of HessFest. So, but I think you brought up such a great point that it's so hard to market when you are dealing with something so serious, because you want to be so mindful not to like disrespect somebody's privacy.
Yeah. And it's so spot on, right? Because you're looking, you look at the event as a whole. Well, there's music going on. There's cornhole. There's all kinds of fun activities. And what you see is how important connection is to everyone, right? Because even in those moments, those solemn moments where we're having the same deep conversations with someone who wasn't at that space where they could, figure out how to discuss some of that stuff. They're in a space where they feel like, oh, I want to bring this up. Like, here's my chance, even though I was here and I may not have been here knowing who these two groups were. But I was here for the entertainment, and then I learned more about what this was, and I didn't realize this was going to be the moment where I was able to share more of my story of how I've been impacted by that. And I think that you just don't see that everywhere.
Right.
So for that to be sort of right there at the front within an event like this, that's just a special thing.
Yeah, and I do love that you guys brought so many of your teammates out there to have those discussions, right? Because I know that like we even had set up an area for you guys, because in particular where it was like a kind of a private-ish area type thing where if somebody actually was struggling even that day, they would have an opportunity. And you guys have so many people who've gone through the camp who've been survivors,
Yep.
right? And so there's like that super personal interaction. I mean, it's just like, and then, you know, again, having firsthand seen the impact that Oak has had on our family, and friends of ours, even, you know, and knowing that you guys are at your booths, just out there doing the work, which is so important. It's just like what I love about HessFest is that everybody on the team Hess is fully bought in. Like we have people who come to work for us because they know that we're out there doing like important work outside of beer, right? That we're just not a beer company that's in hospitality. We're doing this type of work where we're bringing awareness of and raising funds for. That's really, I think, for me as a business owner, part of the thing that's just like makes my heart glad.
Yeah.
Right. Like Linda and I, when we started the brewery, we wanted to have a brewery that had that purpose or some purpose that was bigger than just, doing beer. That's, fine, but it's just a product, right? It's I don't want to say it's pedestrian, but I mean, that's just a thing. But having a mission beyond what we're doing and now seeing it fulfilled in HessFest is really just it's awesome.
Yeah.
Which
it creates a culture, right? It creates a positive culture where, we've had many conversation with even staff that you've had that have been affected by cancer, things that are happening right now, things that happened in the past, where I think we feel good about the fact that, okay, that's why we're here. Like, all right, let's talk through it. What's going on? What resources do you need? What support systems do you need? And for even your own employees in the surrounding community to understand, like, hey, these two groups, they jump in. Like, we've identified, hey, this thing's coming up and we don't know how to deal with it. That's why we're here. And we may not have all the answers, but we'll figure out how to go kick a door down and figure out, all right, well, let's get you the support that you need, and we'll figure it out from there, one day at a time.
Yeah, right on.
And it's interesting how we're very different agencies, but how well we can work together, because there are going to be people in your side that are going to experience things that maybe our team can help with, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to go out and, ask people to support HessFest and be out in the community. And I was having a meeting 2 days ago, and I'm talking about your agency as if I work there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's awesome.
I'm not on the board. I just genuinely know that you're the other philanthropy, and this is such a great mission of what you're doing at, Mike Hess Brewing, that like I'm behind it. Plus, I will work all day to support a child with cancer. So I find myself out there with limited training, Bernie. I'm not going to lie. On your agency, I did a great job because I got the commitment, and I was like, okay, well, I think I'm hired. It's interesting to see, like, we can continue to build how we work together outside the event and support the event at the same time. And, we brought a partner in last year, and we recently we're kind of showing up at the same time to talk to that said partner, but like, and I don't know if you mind if we mention them, but
Okay.
like we brought in Alaska Airlines, and I'm not sure if you knew them prior to that, but there's a reason that they can help him well outside the festival. And it's like the magic of knowing that is helping those families. If I have that knowledge, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to put it in the world.
Right.
So like you're helping us do that. And there's going to be some point where one of your families can be supported by us, and one of our families will be supported by what you do.
And so even with the conversations that we had last year, so we have a sort of a parents military group, because we do have a lot of military families who get diagnosed and they may be at Naval Medical or one of those things. So as we've talked more about the work that 0-800 does, now they're interested, like, okay, I want to go to HessFest. I want to figure out if I can bring some of my other personnel and folks so that we can have those conversations. That's what it should be, right?
Yep.
It's collectively us trying to get together and problem solve. There are a lot of situations where it's very easy to pass the buck. And it's very easy to talk a lot and say, oh, we do this, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we're tasked with jumping in and trying to figure out, okay, well, we are mighty together. And how do we figure out ways where we can truly put that out there and say, hey, look, there are a few of us who are working on something. This is what we think collectively we can do. How can you help, and where can you play a role?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think funders want to see in the community that collaboration happens.
Mm.
And sometimes, naturally speaking, it wouldn't look like we would be
Yeah.
collaborating.
Mhm.
And I think your organization helped facilitate that.
Yeah.
So when
Mhm.
we go out and talk to them, they're like,
Yeah.
you're meeting collaboration. We kind of already know your agencies, or we didn't know
Yeah.
about you, or you
Uh-huh.
might talk about somebody who didn't know us. And now it's broadened our brand awareness. But they're like, I can get behind that.
Mhm.
It's a fun day. If their teams can be connected, I'm like, let's talk. They
Yep.
possibly need
Mhm.
volunteers, and just help, or you can help at our booth, however we can engage more people to be present there and enjoy the music, enjoy the festival, drink beer. That's your flavor. But also just get behind these philanthropies that are out there and these charities. And like, I think they love the collaborative
Yep.
side and how uniquely matched we now are.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's interesting because I noted this a couple years ago. Like even though you're working with different distinct people groups, right? You're kind of dealing with similar uh, situations, right,
Mhm.
between the groups, right? Both of you are working on the post traumatic stress side of it. It was very interesting in our journey with going through uh, cancer with Keely, was that like our original focus starting in that 2019 with Beat Cancer was about research, right? Because there's no new drugs, same drugs for 35 years, whatever, and we were just like, okay, the lack of funding for research, the lack of interest in doing any research by the big pharma. So we were out seeking small organizations like Pavlov who were seeding like $100,000 grants to get things going. And I knew what you guys were doing, and I thought, okay, that's cool, but I really want to cure the cancer thing. That's a huge,
Mhm.
that's an elephant, right? That's not even one bite at a time. I don't even know how you're working on that. That's just something else. But uh, it really crystallized for us after we finished treatment with Keely, because she did a year long of chemo and 18 rounds and the whole thing. She beat it, and we're like, okay, good, we're in remission, like we're in the clear. And then the storm happened, right?
That's right.
Which I knew that you guys had addressed, but I thought, well, come on, like, is that really a thing? And then we saw it in Keely, the whole survivor guilt. And this is very similar to the veteran community, right? Survivor guilt, lost friends during it. Some of them lost limbs, like Keely. They're dealing with very similar type of experience, right? And that's also leading to higher suicidal ideation in the survivor camp of kids who have made it through cancer. And that's where you guys fit in and help them understand that there's a community, that there's people just like them,
Yeah.
there's support for them, just the same way that in the veterans who also had those same traumatic experiences, right? A lot of them look back and say, what was that all about, right? Why did that happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that they're both kind of dealing, the veteran community and the kids who get through the cancer are dealing with that same sort of mental anguish, right? And you're addressing them each in the way that needs to be addressed.
Well, that hits it on the head, right? I think both of our organizations, though on the front facing, people may think, oh, those are two completely opposite sides of the spectrum of what's going on. And in reality, when you take a deeper look, we're so much more similar in what we're dealing with,
Mhm.
right? Like we are the quality of life. We are dealing with the emotional trauma, yet we still work with all of our partners who do the treatment, who do the research and the science, but there has to be more conversations about why quality of life and why helping when it comes to emotional trauma takes just as high of a point as the other two. It really is that third leg of the stool. They have to be, really at that same level. Otherwise, one side fails. And we don't have the luxury of failing. What we're seeing on a regular basis, and we can look at all the data and analytics from both of our organizations of big red flags and spikes where we're like, well, that's going to be concerning because right now there's not a system or a program that tackles that. So
Yeah.
what role do we play in that? How do we open the door to make sure that people are up to speed on what's going on? Because it is this ecosystem that we have to play in. And I think organizations like ours are leading the charge when it comes, specifically to those aspects. And it's critically important.
Yeah, I agree. I think we take a human experience approach. I think just as humans, we're connected to experiences we have had that we can apply into the missions we're leading or we're a part of or we're supporting. I do not have a child who had cancer. I don't know what that feels like. I have a child who has a serious bleeding disorder. It's a very serious condition. It will never go away. And I think as a parent, you just want to fix it. I would have walked to the end of the earth to find the answer to take that away from her so
Yep.
that she never had that,
Mhm.
right? Um, However, I don't have to live the mission every day to support it either. And I think teaching the community what we do, they're going to tie into something that's going to say, I want to support you because I know somebody,
Mhm.
right? I want to support you at 0800 because I know a veteran and I see the struggles that they have. But the approach that we're taking every day, I mean, we have a social work team. So by credential, they're there to do psychosocial assessments and we're there to check in on the mental health. And we do it along a journey. So it's not like this one and done interaction. And it sounds like you have camp where you're there and it's not a one and done interaction.
Hmm.
So we get to know these people on a very deep level.
Mhm.
And we want to be able to go out and give them all the fun experiences because you know what? You deserve it. And I'm in nonprofit, so I'm going to make it happen. But the reality of what's under the hood of these organizations is really intense work.
Yep.
And I think you're helping us get that word out there, but we're doing it because like we're empathetic people. We are humans. We have experience as well. We're not in this space because we're looking for, notoriety and opportunities for ourselves. We literally want to help these people because they deserve it.
Yep.
And so I agree with you. That was
Yeah.
my little tangent, but
No, because we're not we play a role in the short term, but we're really the
Yeah.
long term. Like most of the folks who come through both of our systems, you're talking decades worth of their involvement in
Sure.
what we're doing, and that's unique. That's not the everyday thing. So, I think sometimes people lose sight of the fact that they think, okay, because we might be smaller orgs, oh well, that's cute. And it's like, no, we're not cute. We're
right.
doing work on a large
Right.
scale that most people can't comprehend, and we're talking about years worth of support and
And
resources.
you guys have been at it for decades, yeah?
Yeah, this is year 43 at Camp Reach for the Sky. So
We're not
this
that
is
we're not that old. We're only
that's
on
where
year
those gray
11.
hairs come from.
All right.
We look forward to supporting that when I'm much older and it's at year 43 if I'm around. But we're only at year 11. But I think we're so proud of what we've built in 11 years.
Yeah.
But we certainly have some growth to do. And I think the other side of when you're such a small nonprofit and community support, you can, if anybody's listening, you can help us through board engagement, volunteer engagement. Think about what your organization, your company can do. It's not always about the dollar. It could be about your time and
Oh, yeah.
expertise because I know I've had conversations with you. So if I may, we're every department.
Yeah.
Like we are running the org, we are running all the things, right? We have supportive people like accountants and grant writers and things like that. But like ultimately, when you're a small agency, it takes a lot from the him and I that are everyday leaders that are in those agencies because it's not layered with tons of people. And like people out that are coming to HessFest, like I just want you to know you can get engaged so much more throughout the year with us because we have plenty of positions to fill with your time and expertise.
Yeah.
And Mike, you've seen it. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I mean, you guys, you built this, right? So you've been in our position of building it from the ground up. And I think that part, we always appreciate that because you understand where we're coming from. You understand what the constraints are that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So you're very good at just knowing like, how can I help? What is it? What is it that we need here? Give me these core things and let's figure out, because we have these systems now in place where we can figure out, okay, where can we jump in and help out here, here, and here. And I think that part is great because we need that. Sometimes we need that extra ability to lean on someone who's been through a lot of those things to make sure that we're always following our North Star and that we're continuously putting the community that we're helping at the forefront of what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Because it's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, this year's HessFest is August 8th. So for everybody listening, you go to mikehessbrewing.com, buy tickets, come on down. It's a family-friendly event. It's a great day out there in Imperial Beach at Pier Plaza Park. 4 bands, 5 food vendors, and 2 amazing organizations that you can learn about and support, whether with your pocketbook or just, like you said, just volunteering to help out and be part of the team, be part of the effort. You guys are doing great work, and we're super proud to be working with you guys.
It's going to be a fun day.
Indeed. Yeah.
Look
Come on,
forward
it's
to
fun. Yeah.
Right on, guys.
And great music.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's
Love it.
fun all around. I
That's
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. It's great to hear your stories.
All right.
Awesome.